should be working. All right, let's see how we can use Alter AI, which is a suite of tools for business, for entrepreneurs, for creatives, and of course for personal use. So we want to see how we can use Alter AI to actually get book recommendations. I actually tried this last night, which is why I had the idea of making this video, because I keep discovering ways to use this AI to get stuff that I want personally, not necessarily for the business, but also personally. And I have a lot of use cases in mind, especially when it comes to machine learning itself and also to cybersecurity. So there might be future videos as I keep discovering more use cases. So I'm going to the main board and I'm actually going to Omni, which is, as you can see here, you can explain, ask, or describe your query in natural language or whatever your question is. That's why it's asked. So, for example, I'd also be curious to see how this fares in comparison to the search engine recommendations or the book recommendations from Amazon and from other um, search engines, and also from other tools like this. Now, what I found out last night, so as I was reading, what's this book called? It's called Down and Out in Paris and London. And this is a book by George Orwell. And it's a great book about poverty. So it's a memoir of George Orwell about his experience in Paris and London. And I'm like one third into it. And it's really eye opening because it describes the world in 1930 something, I guess, as it was seen through the eyes or through the experience of someone living in Paris, sometimes even having to expose himself to extreme hunger. And he would actually have to fast for a couple of days because he didn't have money to go and buy food. It's really eye opening because you get to see how the world was like almost 100 years ago. Now, as I was reading this book last night, I came with the idea of how would I be able to find more books. And as you can see here, customers who viewed this item also viewed other books by George Orwell. So this isn't. I'm not actually looking for this. I'm not actually looking for books by George Orwell. I'm actually looking for books about poverty. So, or deliberate poverty, or trying to get by with the minimum of resources, because I am someone who's actually into the via negativa, as the great Nassim Taleb likes to put it. I like to subtract and get rid of stuff instead of accumulating. So I tried. Let's see if I can reformulate with the same query. So I tried a list of books similar to Down and Out in Paris and London by George Orwell. And then I say one because I want to nudge the Omni AI engine of Alter AI into actually giving me a list. So if I tell him one, is actually going to fill with a name of a book here, and then it's going to say two, and so on and so forth. So let's see what we get. Most of the times, and sometimes, this isn't a hit and achieve or hit and score. It's actually sometimes a hit and miss. So you have to keep on playing with the prompt here, with the input, until you get something that you want. Because since this AI has been trained on a couple of hundred of billions of pieces of text, it knows a lot, and sometimes it fantasizes. So the list of books, the names of the books that it can come out with might not even exist. So we'll see. Let's see what we get. Similar to Down and Out. The Road by Cormac McCarthy. Let's see if this exists. And it gives us Animal Farm and 1984 by George Orwell. So we know these two exist. But what's this? The Road by Cormac McCarthy. So this also exists. And we are given The Grapes of Wrath. This also exists. So that's interesting. So this is... So I'm actually looking for a book about poverty. A father... more like a memoir. Sort of like... Not necessarily... So the one by Orwell, this one, Down and Out in Paris and London, this is actually a memoir. So this is not fiction, but this is non-fiction from... this, even though it says here, this unusual fictional account. Obviously, in good part autobiographical. So since this is autobiographical, cannot be fictional. So I'm not sure who actually wrote this description. But from what I know, this is non-fiction. So The Road by Paul McCarthy is... Do we see the section or something? Let's see. I'm not sure why this is an award-winning novel. Fiction. Fiction. So this is fiction. This one. This might not be fiction. Let's see some comments here. Says a masterpiece novel. Masterpiece novel. So this might also be fiction. Tells the story of one Oklahoma farm family forced to travel west to the promised land of California against the hard realities of America, divided into haves and have not. Human yet majestic, moral vision, stirring in its human dignity. Powerful versus the powerless. So I'm not sure if this is about poverty. Anyways, this one, The Road, they have nothing, just a pistol to defend themselves against the lawless bands that stalk the road, the clothes they are wearing, a cart of scavenged food, and each other. So this might be a little bit of a poverty-related book. But anyways, what we got out of the model of the AI was a list of books. So obviously 1984 is not about poverty, but it's a book of George Orwell and Animal Farm. At least these 4 books all exist. Now, if we take the same input and we modify it a little bit, let's actually run it one more time and see if we get a different output. The Stranger by Albert Camus. So The Stranger, let's see. We get the same, The Grapes of Wrath, and 1984. And then we get Of Mice and Men, also by John Steinbeck. So we get another, like, existing one. Ordinary man unwittingly drawn into a senseless murder. Okay, so we get a list of books of Mice and Men. Let's see if this one exists. I'm glad that we at least have books that exist, because it's a starting point. So friendship, this might not be poverty. Now, if we take the same input, in this case, a list of books similar to Down and Out in Paris and London by George Orwell. Let's say a list of books, and let's say memoirs. What if we just say memoirs? What if we just say memoirs without the books? A list of memoirs similar to Down and Out. The Painted Bird. Let's see if this one exists. Painted Bird by Jerzy Kosinski. So it got it right. What's this all about? Let's close some of them here. Literary figure. So novel. Boy abandoned by his parents during World War II. Savourgy to innocence and love. Not an historical but a mythic journey. Not document but literature. So this might be a little bit similar. Now the bell jar. Let's see if this one exists. Obviously, I'm not too good on fiction, which is why I don't know any of these titles. The unbeatable lightness of being. Milan Kundera. Damn, it actually, I'm really impressed because I don't usually see a lot of like actual books. I see a lot of fantasy coming out of the engine. So the Glass Castle. Jeanette Walls. Okay, so we have a memoir here. Resilience Redemption. The Wolves' children learned to take care of themselves and protected one another, found their way to New York. Homeless. So this might be something that we're looking for. Tells the story of a young woman in love with a man and her humbly faithful lover. Okay, so this might, it's a novel. And another novel here. Interesting. So we got one right here. I'm not sure about the rest. Now, what if we say a list of memoirs? A list of memoirs about poverty, similar to this one. Let's see. And this is very, very specific. So you're trying to be super specific with Omni. We get the same The Glass Castle, but now by Jeanette Walls. The Glass Castle. Jeanette Walls. So yeah, this might be a valid one. A Long Way Gone. Does this even exist? A Long Way Gone, Memoirs of a Boy Soldier, Ishmael Bier. There are 300,000 child soldiers. How the age of 12 he filled. So this might also be a little bit on point. So we have historical African biographies, West African history, American Civil War biographies. So this might be a nonfiction. We've got two valid ones. The Woman Who Walked Into Doors, and one by George Orwell. A novel. So we have a novel, Roddy Doyle. So this is the one. Is this the only? Book 1, 1997. Novel, woman's relationship with a violent man, engaging and uplifting. So another novel. The Road. So we have two valid ones, a novel, but at least, like I said, we have real books. The Road to Wigan Pier. George Orwell. Socioeconomic conditions in the coal mining communities of England, including detailed analysis of workers' wages, living conditions, and working environments. Orwell was profoundly influenced by his experiences while researching. Unflinching look at unemployment and life among the working classes in Britain during the Great Depression. So we have a third one. So our input here, a list of memoirs about poverty, gave us 3 books. Glass Castle. We could even say how we could further improve this one. A list of non-fiction. We could say a list of non-fiction books instead of memoirs. A list of non-fiction books about poverty, similar to Down and Out in Paris and London by George Orwell. I think you get the point. So this one didn't give us anything. Sometimes the model just throws like empty output. Black Boy, The Bell Jar. We have another. I think we've seen these, and as you can see, the thing is that it comes up with 4 titles. I wonder why. We have The Jungle. We have The Grapes of Wrath. We've seen this. We didn't see The Jungle, The Black Boy by Richard Wright. Let's see if we repeat this input. What else do we get? Do we get another 4 titles? We get 3. So John Steinbeck, The Grapes of Wrath. The Other America, Poverty in the United States. Let's see. Michael Harrington. Interesting. So this might be on point. The Shame of the Nation. Let's see. So I'm not sure if you get the point, but the thing is that I'm really surprised by the fact that the model comes up with books that exist. The Shame of the Nation. So The Shame of the Nation. The Restoration of Apartheid. So far we didn't get any book that doesn't exist. Jonathan Kozal. Okay, so like I said, you want to be extremely specific. We've got a couple of books. Now compared to what we've got from Amazon, if we go back here, Down and Out in Paris and London, customers who view this item also view this. So we have Amazon is suggesting us The Road to Wigan Pier, which is the same we've also gotten from Omni. Let's see. So more Orwell. Most of these are Orwell. So in my I would actually say, so in my opinion, Amazon doesn't do good in terms of suggesting, because it's suggesting, in this case it's suggesting books, products related to this item. Travel planner. Travel planner. Okay, so as I was saying, Amazon, I don't think Amazon, and I might be biased, I don't think Amazon is doing a good thing here, because um, it gives us books about the same, from the same author, and not books about poverty, non-fictional books about poverty and memoirs. And like I said here, you can use Alter AI and actually get a list of books, and it's really good if you are extremely specific, like I am here. Non-fiction books, give the title, say similar to, or you could say like, Down and Out in Paris and London by George Orwell, and then you say number one. So you can try it out at alterai.me, and of course you can get free credits. You have the instructions here. So I welcome you to actually play with it and give me feedback. All right.